Right.
That can't be from the same
Finance.
day.
That can't be.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is this morning, and this is this morning.
Okay, that's gotta be.
Yeah, because I've been watching that. Getting done, that can't be. Because that's only 7 miles.
Right.
Well, okay.
Start.
I think I can start. I just want to turn off my phone. Okay. Okay, this is the Syracuse Landmark Preservation Board meeting of December 5th, 2024. Present at the meeting are
Howard Trish.
Nicole Fragnito.
Kyle Gregory.
Julia Marshall,
Jeff Romano.
Martha Hertzberg, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
And Kate Auetter. Morning.
may I have a motion to accept the minutes of November 14th, 2024?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any modifications? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are adopted. Okay. The board will now conduct the public hearing on today's agenda. First, the applicant or applicant's representative will be invited to describe the proposed scope of work and to present any material or documentation regarding the proposed to the board. Next, persons wishing to speak in favor of the proposal will be given the opportunity to address the board. Then persons who wish to speak in opposition will be allowed to address the board. Finally, the applicant or representative will be given the opportunity to make closing comments to the board. Following public comment, the board may vote to approve, approve with conditions, or deny the application just heard. The board may also decide to hold its decision until the next public hearing. If the hearing is closed, no additional information will be allowed into the record, except for information that the board may request. That information will be available for public review with board staff. Kate, will you now introduce the first application?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. The first application is CA-2429, a certificate of appropriateness for 101 Wendell Terrace. This is a front porch replacement along with some minor site work. And the property is located in the Sedgwick Highland James Preservation District. And with that, I'll invite the applicant to come up and describe the project. Yeah.
Please state your name and address.
I'm Bobby Gasparini. I work with Gasparini Landscaping, and I'm here for Michael Scher's property at 101 Wendell Terrace, and we're proposing to put in a new sidewalk, front steps, as well as the front porch and front door. It's in pretty poor condition right now. The homeowner would like to do some updates. There are some safety hazards with the walkway and the steps, and he wanted to redo the front entryway. So I have proposed to do so. We would be removing the existing slate walkway. We would be installing new natural stone, bluestone. We believe there is a sub-base of concrete that the existing slate is on. We would remove the slate and install new bluestone on top of that concrete sub-base. For the front steps, it is crumbling and falling. The step treads are loose, wobbling, and we were proposing to remove the entire front steps and reconstruct in the same dimensions, just a new format. I wanted to extend those steps all the way to the outside edge of the porch there. Instead of having those 4-foot wide steps, they would now become closer to that 8-foot range. We would be removing the steps down to the foundation that it's sitting on right now, rebuilding with cinder block and mortar, and then refacing that with a natural limestone veneer. On top of that would be natural bluestone treads and the natural bluestone on the top landing. We'd also are proposing to replace the front pillars, as well as the structure itself, and as well as the front door. All of that is in pretty rough shape. There's definitely wood rot on the door, the trim, the structure itself. So it was a kind of a perfect opportunity with redoing the steps to kind of replace that all together. The new porch would be same format. We're trying to keep it to look just as it is right now. That would be built out of pine lumber and then sealed with an exterior paint. All the trim work would be to match. And then the new front door as well. I forgot to mention, we also would like to add a couple step lights underneath the treads going up, and then also install 2 iron handrails on each side of the steps there.
Let's start with the replacement of the steps and the cheek walls. Can you explain, are the cheek walls going away if you're extending the steps to be wider?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And then you're adding iron rails. Do we have anything that shows us what those handrails?
Yeah,
I submitted a photo.
yeah, there's an image.
Oh,
Are those going to be aligned?
sorry, I got to interrupt. Are there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor? Please come forward. before we- Anyone wishes to speak in opposition? Okay. I can close,
Public, yeah.
I can
public
close
comment.
the public hearing, and then we can have public comment. Sorry, I keep making that mistake. Public comment, and then we can discuss. I'll close it, and now you can ask questions. So that's the handrail you're proposing
Correct.
for it, okay. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what's new. And the bluestone that you're proposing for the treads would be a thermal cut, or?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
And that would be a thermal cut for the path? And would it be the entire front area that has, are you replacing all of the slate?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
In the existing location.
Existing walkway width, size, distancing, everything remains the same, the curve remains the same. You intend to
Yes.
use the same sub-base that the current slate is sitting on.
Correct.
And that's all going to be a rectangular rectangular cut bluestone?
Yes, and it's a mixed pattern, different sizing, laid in a random pattern.
Slate was original. If it sat on a concrete subbase, it most likely is not.
We don't know if it's
It's like a
sitting on
mud
that.
slab. and
Yeah.
I don't think mud slabs was on.
Yeah, but we don't know
Right.
until it's taken apart, so. This,
Well, have you taken up some of the slate?
We have not, so if the concrete subbase is in very poor condition, what we would need to do is remove that completely and then build a new, what we would do is build a stone base and lay it on top of that.
Have you done any excavation on that? Like on the edge to see if there's what base exists?
I have not. I have seen a little bit of the concrete, but I haven't gone deep enough to really know the depth of it. It could be over an old walkway.
It could just be like a 1-inch mud bed or something too, like you were saying.
And then you're proposing to change out the columns from the wood columns to a fiberglass,
Correct.
as well as the pilasters up against the wall?
That would be wood. against
Rebuilt
the
as
wall.
wood?
Yes,
Okay. But they would be rebuilt?
yes, yep.
Building all the trim up against the house,
Yes.
fan light included?
Yes, yep.
Is the fan light in
No,
poor
that's just
condition, or that you need to rebuild the fan light that's been protected?
The paint is definitely in pretty poor condition. I don't know for 100% if it's completely compromised, but with everything coming out, I'm not sure on how it was constructed, if it's all, one piece or not. And with how much removal we're planning on doing, it kind of made sense to replace that with it.
Is any work being done to the roof? There's just a picture of the corner of the portico, and I'm assuming pointing out the flashing.
Yes, so everything will be reflashed and reshingled.
And in what material?
Asphalt shingle.
Just for my edification, are you're proposing to remove the entire portico structure and rebuild as is?
It would be completely removed and then reframed and retrimmed. Yep.
Okay. You want to close comments or have
Anyone
full
else
discussion?
with comments?
The storm door will be removed as well? Sorry.
Yes.
And then you'll just have the new front door that's proposed here, the three-quarter light door?
Yes. I do have photos of the condition of the front door as well, if you'd
Yeah,
like to see that.
To me, it doesn't read as the original door. I don't have too much issue with that, but where's that cut sheet? And can you describe that door? Is there a breakdown? Oh, I'm sorry, there it is. It's a wood door or fiberglass door?
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass door. Storm door. So in here, it does say you're including the storm door?
Yes.
6, 8. Is this door going into the existing jamb?
Correct.
So you're just removing the unit, the door itself, and
Yes.
rehanging an existing opening? Okay. Okay.
May I have a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Is there a second?
Was there a second?
Can we,
Oh, you had a question?
You
or
have discussion
yeah, discussion.
after, if there's a second to the motion.
Is there a second? Thanks.
Is there any discussion or modifications to the motion?
Discussion per points. This portico has great detail and finesse and scale, and without any drawings presented in the package, I'm a little hesitant to say yes to what's being presented. There's no documentation backing it up. So, I mean, this is the ornament on the front of the house, and I'm slightly worried that it's going to be highly altered in a full removal if we're not seeing any construction documents showing design and detail of how you're going to rebuild that.
Okay.
With the arched roof and all that intricate trim on that, I'm nervous on that regard. The cheek walls, I feel, are important. I'm looking at this project in a couple different pieces. We have the structural on the house, and then we have the landscape and the stonework. The stoop, I feel the cheek wall should remain, kind of part of the garden idea of the Sedgwick neighborhood. You know, those are spots to put pots of plants, and putting that into stair tread, you can still do that, but it totally changes the feel and the scale of that stoop. No issue with the material going back in. I just changing the form, I feel, is worthy of looking into a little deeper. As to the patio walkway, not knowing what it's sitting on, the whole excavation, if it's going to be totally removed, I'm partial to keeping that colored pattern and not just a homogeneous blue stone walkway. That's done purposeful. I don't know if there was any relation to the building. The building's been painted out. I don't know if the keystones in the headers were, you know, a gray or a blue that picked up on that pattern. I feel there's a reason for why that patio coloring is that reason in that space and time. Those are my my three issues that I have with the application. I don't feel there's sufficient information to warrant an approval, at least on the structural replacement of the portico itself.
Oh, I just, from a clarity standpoint, talk about the steps. Now, you're talking about, you bring in the, bringing the porch all the way out here, and then the steps start there.
So the top landing would be the same, it would stop at the same point, yes. And then the steps would just extend to the outside.
Just extend out.
Yep.
And so the steps will be further out front.
Correct.
The cheek
It'll
walls would
the
be
s-
eliminated,
Yeah,
and the stair would be the full width of the stoop. So right, so
So starting here, full,
right, yeah. So basically, where the columns sit would be the edge of the kind of the porch slab, and then the
yeah,
stairs
that's
would
what I'm
start.
wondering how it's gonna hold up.
And I'm okay with the fiberglass porch columns. I take no issue with that. I just need more detail on how this, you know, ornament is going to be replaced.
Other comments? I guess I'll make some comments. As far as materials are concerned, in terms of fiberglass columns, I don't take issue with that, nor with replacement with wood and painting. I do agree with Jeff that we do need to see drawings that document the replacement to make sure that the detailing of the portico is maintained. I would also agree that removing the cheek walls would take away from the idea of this portico. It's a very strong idea, and it's also, once you take away the cheek walls and the relationship of the iron rail, it really doesn't make it rational to me, because all of a sudden you've got these rails and they're going to be the 6 feet wide versus the stair right now is 4 feet wide. So I don't know if it's accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. As far as the material changing to limestone and bluestone, I would disagree with you in terms of the slate. The slate is not a material that holds up over time, and bluestone is a much better material that will hold up over time, and the slate usually cracks and splits, and the thermal cut bluestone will probably have more longevity. As far as the color, I can't speak to what historically the color was. There are some variations in bluestone. Not enough, it doesn't have reds, but it has blues and greens. and it will have a random pattern, so I don't have issue with that. I would ask, as far as the front door, the change, what is being proposed is not in keeping with the architecture of the residence. However, it is something that can be removed. So I would ask that the homeowner maintain the existing door so that that historic material is not lost, because it can always be changed back. So I don't have an issue with it if it's saved. And I know you can't speak for the owner, but if you're taking off the door and you're not changing the opening and you're just changing out the door, it would be helpful if that door was saved.
You say that there were images of, I didn't see any images of the existing door.
Oh, there was.
Was there?
Have,
Right.
some.
Well, there's
Yeah,
this, but I thought you mentioned something about the
Yep,
condition
I
of the
have
door,
a couple
which I
extra.
couldn't tell from the photos that we have.
Thank you.
Yeah, is this the door?
Yeah, that was just a close-up of some of the damage.
Is that one of the rails, or? It's gotta be. All of that
Whole
can
black
be
set
re-
replacement.
I mean, in my opinion, all of that can be repaired. There are products out there that can repair that, and that is, I'll make the assumption that that's an original door to this residence, and that can be repaired.
I just wanted to clarify whether the door was so far gone, because it did not appear to be
Yeah.
for the back of it.
At this point, would you like to make modifications or to your motion or not? Or we can take a vote?
Well, I agree. I mean, seeing some basic drawing just showing that somebody has taken the measurements of the upper area of the portico would be helpful in case something goes wrong when it's being demoed and rebuilt. So I guess I will modify my motion to approve as long as the submission includes basic documentation of the existing portico.
I asked, was your goal to take that down, use it as a template to rebuild it?
We would get exact measurements, exact trim work. I don't think it'll come down in one piece, so there would be some pre-planning beforehand.
So Hillary's modified her resolution, so we'll need, I think Kyle, you had seconded, do you second the modifications? Is there anything, the only question is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can you just restate?
So the modifications the modification was approval based on the submission of
Scale drawings?
basically drawings with dimensions of the original porch. So we need to see the construction documents for the new porch based on the measurements of the old. And so the other question is, yeah. So everything, does that include the porch? Do you have any issue with the porch or the steps, the cheek walls getting
I
widened?
don't, but if others do, then I
Okay.
can take my motion back or whatever it needs to happen.
Well, we
I'm
need a vote
just
now.
trying to get you to
Okay.
clarify the motion. Your
Yes.
motion was clear. It was to approve the application.
As submitted.
You modified it to require submittal of dimensions of the portico and the ornament of the front porch. So the motion as it stands is to approve the removal of the cheek walls and to extend the steps on either side of the current steps to change out the door with the other modifications. So that's the current motion on the table.
Recommend to retain the existing door because having seen the additional documentation on the condition of the door, I feel like it's in sufficiently good condition that it can be repaired. I do think it's better suited to the style of the original building. So I would recommend to retain that.
So that's a friendly amendment, and Hillary has to decide if she'll accept it.
Or we can vote and then,
As well as the cheek walls. I mean, do you want to address the cheek walls?
She has to first
Right,
accept
okay.
Kyle's amendment
yeah.
if she's going to. She's not required to.
Correct.
She can ask you to call a vote. Okay.
I'm okay with the replacement door if I like the idea of asking the homeowner to save the current door and put it in storage in case somebody down the road would like to repair and put the door back.
She doesn't accept that.
So she doesn't accept
amendment.
Kyle's.
So the motion stands to allow the stairs to be widened, removal of those cheek walls, and to replace the door, and to approval contingent on the amendment to submit specified drawings of the ornaments and portico. That's the motion on the table.
Are you okay with seconding that?
You already
To put it to
seconded
vote?
You already seconded it.
So now we have to put it to vote if it does not.
Right,
Right.
right, so.
All in favor of the motion? Any in opposition?
Aye.
Okay, any abstentions? The resolution fails. No, motion fails.
Oops, I may need to revise.
You
your-
need to revise that. Okay, so at this point, someone wants to make a motion.
A new motion.
A new motion. I'll entertain that.
I'll make a new motion. We would like to see added to the plans a detailed and dimension drawing of the portico, including all ornament. The front stairs remain as is with retaining the cheek walls. Front door to remain as is, given the pictures, that's what is repairable. And
Jeff,
the,
can you clarify your motion? I think what you're trying to say is that the stairs remain in the style as they are, but that they can be repaired or rebuilt.
With new materials.
sorry, yes. The existing configuration of the stairs, collectively, I'd call it the stoop, with the cheek walls, the form remain as is, and new material permitted to be placed on the risers and treads and floor.
New materials as presented.
As presented, correct. And the patio walkway space as presented, bluestone as presented.
That motion. Or, well, does
Okay,
someone want
we
to
need a
second
second.
it?
Yeah.
Someone needs to second it first.
I'll second.
All right. The motion is to approve the application subject to the submittal of detailed dimensional drawings of the portico with but with the modification that the existing configuration of the stoop be retained with new materials being allowed. And the front door be repaired and retained in place, and then the patio as proposed.
modifications?
Or discussion? Oops, is there something
I'm
else?
sorry, I didn't hear anything about the door.
It would be maintained
Retained in place.
And we would
and
therefore
repaired.
be eliminating the proposed rails? If
No,
we're retaining
the-
the cheek walls, we're keeping both. Okay.
I think code would require
Require
rails.
rails.
but- Do we have a second?
Yes.
Oh, Nicole.
And no other discussion or modifications to the motion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Any abstention?
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm opposed.
One opposed.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Okay,
So you'll work with Kate in terms of the information that's, will be necessary. at this point.
and also just so you know, because there are conditions attached to the resolution that was just proposed, if in consultation with the owners disagree and would like to move forward with the plans, it can be appealed to the decision can be appealed to the planning commission. So I will provide you with all that information. So I can take that back.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to Kate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, if we're ready, the next item on the agenda is a piece of new business is, let's see, a request for consent from the CPC to assume lead agency status for the, for the expansion of the Surge Link internet service that the city is providing. This is a scattered site situation. A number of, they're trying to expand, they're working to expand the broadband. This was an initiative that started back in 2023 to provide affordable broadband internet service to the community. The city is looking to expand this program, and it will impact at least one historic property in terms of the mechanics, the infrastructure that needs to be installed. We don't have yet the actual specs for the equipment, the installation. As I said in the staff report, it looks as though there'll be one property listed on the National Register that will be impacted by this. And that is, hold on, the,
Maria Regina?
yeah, is it Maria? No, let's see, no, I think it's the one on West Fayette Street. Hold on. Yeah, West Fayette
sorry.
Street. Yep, the Light Rollway Corporation building.
Just for more detail, there are, I was working on the resolution last night. There are 9 sites across the city. 7 of the locations will have roof-mounted equipment, and then there'll be 2 locations with a monopole, and they'll be deploying 20 miles of fiber optic cable throughout the city.
And I did take a look at those, the 9 sites, and as I said, I identified the Light Rollway Corporation as one of them, because we don't have this, at this point, this is just the Planning Commission asking to be allowed to be the lead agency, which staff's recommendation is to give it the thumbs up. But moving forward, what I would like to request is if there are some basic criteria that you would like to suggest, so that when those plans do come in, we can do a staff review and make sure that, and so it doesn't need to keep coming back to the board. Of course, if there's an issue or a concern about any of the installations, we would bring it before the board. So I guess the first question is, do you consent to CPC taking on the lead agency? And then if there could be a discussion about design criteria, that would be great.
I have no issue with CPC taking lead agency.
Okay.
Second that.
Thank you.
And I sign the document. Yeah.
Design criteria, so when they go to do the install, when the antennae is designed, we'll get a spec sheet of that so we can understand how it's mounted and how it's affixed to the pole or to the building.
To the building. Yep. Yeah. And they do have, I did provide you in the staff report just some examples of what they have done before with buildings. These are not what they're proposing to do. The equipment itself is, the antenna itself looks to be fairly small, but I think that there may be some, and the other, of course, the other issue is it needs to be, quote, seen. It needs to be reachable. They will be visible, but the issue would be how do you make them the least, are there?
A few years ago,
Yeah, we can talk.
We went through a project like this.
for Salina Street, I thought there was impact on,
Not at Salina,
On North
actually,
Salina?
it was downtown on top of the building.
yeah, the old railway building. But I thought we did some pole, we reviewed some pole-mounted designs that were impacting National District for North Salina Street. And they were put on the perimeter, but they were within 400 or 500 feet.
There'll be more information forthcoming. This is really just to focus on the
Schematic.
seeker
Okay.
determination that the Planning Commission has to do for the whole project to move forward. I know that the county has already reviewed the proposal, the overall proposal for the Surge Link, and they have made some recommendations for screening around where the fiber or where the monopoles are going to be located. So that's a discussion that's going to be ongoing, but not really necessarily relevant to the seeker determination. And for you, there's only one site that's impacted.
This is all in the right-of-way, these installations? Minus what's being put on buildings?
I believe so, from the documents that I've read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at historic districts or, those
Yeah, I did.
visual impediment in the
I
middle
did
of a
go and
district.
take a look at where the monopoles are going, and they are, there's one fairly close, but nonetheless, a couple blocks back from one of the Strathmore historic districts. The other one is way out.
At this point, so it's really all about letting them take lead.
Yeah, and the plans, it's going on to the next planning commission meeting, so I would expect that the application with specs and plans are already posted on the planning commission website. If any of you want to go take a look at that, just look for the Surge Link application. I don't see the application number on there, but it's on for December 18th at the planning commission, so you should be able to access the entire application, and the staff report will be posted soon.
Excellent. I'm good. Thank you.
In terms of consent, do you need a majority from the board?
For there to be that doesn't require a vote, does it? Lead agency, does it?
Probably should.
All
Or
right.
just consent, but we need to
Consent.
know what the board's thinking.
Yeah.
We are in agreement.
Yeah.
Are we all
is-
in agreement?
Okay, very good.
I just want to make sure.
For
that-
CPC
Yeah, normally it would
too.
come to you by letter, which they probably
They did.
sent you a lead
Yep.
agency request, so it's really, this is just an opportunity for the board as a body to acknowledge the request.
Excellent.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
All motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, everyone, have a wonderful holiday.
Carries.
Our next meeting is on the 9th of January, so have a wonderful holiday and a Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. And I'm sorry that Tom was not here to provide cookies.